Ever feel like you're capable of so much more but, like, there's this invisible ceiling? You know that feeling? Today, we're diving into Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. It claims to have the answer.
And it's not your typical self-help book.
Oh, okay. How so?
Well, Psycho-Cybernetics is about really understanding how your mind works, specifically the power of your self-image.
Self-image. Okay, so, like, what does that even mean? Break that down for us.
Okay, so imagine this. Your self-image is basically like a mental blueprint of yourself.
Okay.
That's what you believe you're capable of.
Right.
And these beliefs, whether you realize it or not, they kind of drive everything, your actions, your results, everything.
So if I keep telling myself I'm a terrible presenter, I'm basically, what, setting myself up to fail before even starting?
Exactly. Your subconscious mind doesn't judge those thoughts. You know, it's like, okay, if you say so, it accepts them as commands.
Wow.
So if you're stuck in negative self-talk, you're basically programming yourself for those outcomes.
Oh, that's a scary thought. But wait, there's got to be a way to fix that.
Right. That's the good news. You can rewrite the code.
Now we're talking. A mental reboot. So, like, where do we even start with that? How do we go from self-sabotage to self-success?
First step is awareness.
Yep.
Got to identify those beliefs that are holding you back.
Okay, so, like, how do we actually do that?
Well, Maltz calls these success mechanisms. Once you see them, you can challenge them, replace them.
So less dwelling on past failures, less I can't, and more, what, I can. Or even like, I will.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about consciously choosing a different dialogue.
Yeah.
And, you know, one powerful tool for that is visualization.
Visualization, isn't that something like athletes use to up their game?
It is, but it's not just for them. Psycho-Cybernetics says anyone can use it. The idea is your brain doesn't really know the difference between something vividly imagined and something real.
Hold on. So if I imagine myself like totally rocking that presentation,
Yeah.
my brain's like getting programmed for success before I even step on stage.
Precisely. And it's not just picturing it. The more senses you use, the better.
Okay.
So feel that confidence, hear the applause. Make it real.
So I'm basically creating a whole movie in my head. And I'm the star, the director, and
Exactly. You're giving your subconscious new instructions, a new blueprint.
Yeah. Whoa. Okay, so with practice, my actions will start lining up with this new image.
Yes.
We can rewire our brains just by changing how we think.
That's Psycho-Cybernetics. We're not stuck with old programming. We have the power.
That is seriously empowering. But okay, let's be real. What about when we mess up? When those old doubts come back?
That's where reframing comes in. Got to change how you see those past experiences, especially the failures.
So instead of letting failures define me, I should see them as, what, opportunities?
Yes. Psycho-Cybernetics says see them as feedback. Instead of dwelling, ask, what can I learn?
Okay, so failures become stepping stones, not roadblocks.
Exactly. And it's not just thinking differently, it's about action too. And this is where it gets interesting. Psycho-Cybernetics talks about this thing called acting as if.
Okay, now, you got to tell me more about this acting as if. So we're talking about, like, actually acting like the person I want to be, even if I don't feel like it yet.
Yeah, basically. It's about aligning your actions with that ideal version of yourself.
Okay, so say I'm super shy, right? But I want to be that outgoing, life of the party kind of person.
Right.
I should just act like it, even if it feels weird.
Exactly. Start small, you know?
Yeah.
Make eye contact, strike up conversations, put yourself out there. The more you act like that's who you are, the more your mind starts to believe it.
So it's like we're literally rewiring our brains just by changing how we behave.
That's the idea. It's a feedback loop,
Right.
right? Actions, they don't just reflect who we are, they shape who we become. The book actually uses this analogy of a servo mechanism.
Servo.
It's like a self-correcting system, adjust based on feedback.
Okay, in English. For those of us who don't speak engineer.
Haha, right. Think of it like a thermostat. You set it to the temperature you want, and it just kind of does its thing, right? Heats or cools till it hits that target. Your self-image, that's the thermostat. When you start acting like the you want to be, boom, new target.
And our subconscious, it's like, okay, got to close that gap.
Yes, exactly. It's like you're sending this message, this is me now. Ooh. And if you keep it up, your beliefs start to change, then your reality. Wild, right?
Seriously wild. So it's not enough to just like think happy thoughts. I got to take action, even if it's uncomfortable at first.
Exactly. Our brains, they're amazingly adaptable. You step outside your comfort zone, act like that new you, and those neural pathways, they get stronger.
Okay, this is making me think about, those big, scary goals, the ones that feel kind of impossible. Does Psycho-Cybernetics have anything to say about actually achieving those?
Oh, absolutely. The book is big on setting clear goals, that match your self-image. But, and this is important, it's got to be more than just vague dreams. Maltz, he loves what he calls SMART goals.
Okay, so what makes a goal SMART?
It's an acronym. Stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Basically, you got to break those big dreams down into bite-sized pieces.
So instead of, I want to write a novel, which, let's be real, sounds kind of terrifying.
Right.
It'd be more like, I'm going to write 500 words every day for a year.
There you go. See? By getting specific, you're not only giving your subconscious a roadmap, but you're building momentum. Each little win, it's like fuel for your belief system. Keeps you going.
So not just any goals, it's got to be the right goals. Goals that, like, truly resonate with who I want to be.
Bingo. Goals that excite you, inspire you. But you got to be realistic too, yeah. Breaking down into steps you can actually take.
Wow, this is a lot to process. It's like Psycho-Cybernetics is giving me a whole new playbook for, like, life, you know? And it's not just about wishing and hoping, it's about understanding how my mind actually works.
That's what's so cool about it, right?
Yeah.
It's recognizing the power we have. We can shape our thoughts, our beliefs, everything.
So much of what we're talking about hinges on, well, believing in ourselves. But what about when those doubts creep back in? How do I quiet that inner critic that says, you're not good enough, or this is never going to work? So much of what we're talking about hinges on, well, believing in ourselves. But what about when those doubts creep back in? How do I quiet that inner critic that says, you're not good enough, or this is never going to work?
Oh, that inner critic, right? Everybody deals with that.
Yeah.
It's normal, you know, part of being human. But the good news is we don't have to let it run the show.
Yeah, I mean, easier said than done, right?
It definitely takes practice. But hey, remember visualization. That same power, we can use it to fight back against those negative thoughts.
Wait, really? So, like, if I'm freaking out about a presentation, instead of picturing all the ways it could go wrong, I should visualize myself, like, totally nailing it.
Exactly. Swap those bad images for good ones.
Yeah.
And don't forget the feelings, right? Imagine that feeling of, I did it, the audience loving it. Give your mind a new script.
So it's about choosing which thoughts get that power.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're not going to completely shut off self-doubt. That's not realistic. But we acknowledge it, challenge it, and then we choose to focus on something better, something stronger.
So not ignoring reality, but, like, actively shaping how I see it.
You got it. Stuff happens. We can't control everything. But what we can control is how we react. And that's huge.
This has been, wow, an incredible deep dive. As we wrap up, what's, like, the one thing you hope our listeners take away from all this?
You know, if there's just one thing, it's this. You have way more power than you think over your thoughts, your beliefs, your life. It's not about being perfect. It's about realizing you're always a work in progress.
Like, we have the tools, we just got to use them.
Exactly. And it all starts with believing that you can.
So to everyone listening, if even one thing today resonated with you, pay attention to that. Pick one thing, one action step, and see where it takes you.
And remember, be kind to yourself. It takes time. Be consistent. Trust the process. You've got this.
Couldn't have said it better myself. This has been an amazing exploration of, well, the power of our own minds. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and don't be afraid to push those boundaries. See y'all soon.